Yo, 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 it's your boy Mark Goodman, aka the voice box of the block. I'm back with another one. You know, I'm hopping in the window like, bro, man, what's happening? Man, I'm having a great day. I'm having a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, man. I can't thank you enough, man. I got a special guest, man. Uh, I already told him off air, thank him, but I'm gonna thank you again on air. What's going on, brother? Listen, I'm not gonna mess your name up, so I'm going to let you introduce yourself because I'm a terrible at messing names up. So I don't want to do that to you. Please don't let me do it.
There's no problem, man. What's up, everybody? What's going on? Good Guy Podcast. This is Jemiah Battle.
Jemiah Battle. So come on, give me the origin of the name. Now you can't leave me hanging. Give me the origin.
Origin of the name. So I had to do some digging myself when I got older. My first name is Jemiah. My mom, she got that, of course, from she liked the biblical name of Jeremiah. So she got Jemiah from that. The name Jemiah means he who bursts from the womb. He who birth purposes from the womb. Jemiah means. And last name is actually Battle Rodriguez. My grandmother from Dominican Republic, but legally in the United States, you only can use one. And so I go by Battle. That's my grandfather's last name. And it has Native American roots for Battle.
Right. Yep. Right. So today, Battle is, if you don't know, is a life coach. And that is very interesting. And so I wanted to dive in because we talk about numerous things on this podcast, but I do want to touch base on informative information that's going to touch the masses. And it's much needed, especially in the Black community. And so as I reached, I've had counselors, but I've never had a life coach. And it was interesting reading your bio, and you wanted to make sure there's a big difference. So can you help my viewers kind of tell them what is the biggest difference between having a life coach and a counselor?
Life coach and a counselor. So in particular, I deal with emotional fitness and moving forward. So the difference between whatever type of coach you get and a slash versus a counselor or a therapist is a therapist is more so kind of gonna help you dig through your past and get you some type of just get you to an awareness of your past as to where you're at. A coach is gonna try to take all that information, where you're at, and use it for where you want to go. So with coaching, I'm focusing on let's get some awareness going on. Not only some awareness, let's get some awareness. Let's get some strategies. Let's manage what we got, and let's move forward towards where you want to go as to who you are as an individual.
So what gave you the passion, or have you always had the passion to try to be of service in that manner as far as being a life coach? Like what gave you that? Was it the beginning or what?
Man, it's funny, man. I used to hate that term, life coach. I still got a funny relationship with it just because there's so many, I get so many life coaches now, man, but or coaches now. But what gave me the passion was, man, my own journey. I grew up, of course, like most, Black and brown brothers, single family, single mother, all of that. And I was emotionally unhealthy most of my life, man. Dealing with traumas of lifestyle choices I made as a teenager, early adult in my 20s, and I was emotionally messed up. I started suffering from depression, manic depression at an early age, man. Maybe I started dealing with it 10, 11 years old. Didn't know what to call it. And really mental breakdown. My mother and father suffered from major, I ain't gonna call it illnesses, but emotional, well, we call it illness, a lot of mental illnesses and stuff from early ages, man. And so I got to a point where I wanted to heal. So I started digging, researching, start getting certifications here, learning here. and healing myself first. And they gave me I always had a passion to want others to heal and become who they are as well. So, I mean, it started with my own healthiness, and truth be told, man, it's a continual journey. You know, as you grow, you learn more and uncover more stuff about yourself that needs healing. And so it's never a finished product, man. So that's where it came from.
So I've been doing my research on the difference between the two, and like you said, obviously, a life coach, helps you deal with the future and planning and having a purpose. And a lot of times, as you said, life coaches, through your bio, you was talking about I coached because through my own experiences, as you said. So, doing that, how you able to be stable when you always having to deal with people experiences based off your own? Does it even put you back? Or are you able to keep a clear mind? Because a lot of times that's tough. Always having to, remember things and things of that nature.
I say, like with anything else, it's perspective and awareness and intentionality. What I mean by that is I got a pretty good awareness of my previous triggers. And I've done a lot of extensive work to process those triggers. Gotcha. I still got them. Like, the triggers don't go anywhere. I still get pissed the same way. But the way I process them and deal with them emotionally, and my actions is a lot different. But also I got a different perspective about a lot of things I went through. I don't look at them as, they sucked at the time, but they was lessons. I look at it as, sometimes you win, most times you learn. So I look at them as lessons versus to have that kind of victim mentality, like, this happened to me. Yes, I may have been victimized or went through this, but I'm not a victim. So that helps me keep that perspective from looking at stuff I've been through as horrific or bad as it was to myself. Yeah. Still validating it. It's something that I use to help me become stronger and better. So this perspective most of the time.
I like how you said not playing the victim. Do you see a lot of that in our community? Us playing the victim.
Absolutely, man. But
because I see it a lot.
Yeah, I see it a lot, man. It's perpetrated, but I think it's by design, man. I think it's by design. And if you play the victim, as long as you play the victim, you never have to take responsibility for your choices. Right. And not only do you not only have to take responsibility and accountability for your choices, the situation always controls you. It always has power over you, man.
I agree because a lot of times in our community, we'll sit back and let that blossom more than moving forward. We'll sit in something and it's hard to get out of. And that leads to my next question. When we lean on someone, we usually typically, because if you look at the numbers, that it always shows that in the Black community we don't see counseling or life coaching for some odd reason. You finna answer this question, or you gonna help me elaborate with this question. And I asked this question to the last counselor as well. Do you think religion plays a major part in us not really leaning towards professional counseling? Because we will go to the pastor, not saying that's a bad thing, but does that play a major part, you think?
I think it does in the, I would say Black and brown community. Yeah, I think it plays a major part of the religion of it, not the spirituality of it, going to God and having a relationship with God. That's totally different. But also the religion of the religion and propaganda of it. And maybe they're the same thing. Maybe I'm saying religion and propaganda of a lot of it plays a major part because as a whole, not every church, there's some great pastors out there.
Absolutely.
Great places to worship out there. But in general, it is, fake it till you make it, have faith, you consider weak if you're not believing enough or you're not trusting in God.
Right.
All that stuff. So as a whole, that's been the consensual thought in generation, and especially in the Black community, because at some point, that's all we. You know, you go back to slavery and all of that. That's all we had.
Right.
And a lot of our, you know, especially in the South and the North too, a lot of the roots are from, you know, those old Baptist Southern roots of, you know, the whole structure of church today is still rooted in, from that same structure. And it's kind of like, you know, I ain't gonna say war is me, but it's kind of like, you know, hoping to get to here. You know, I'm not trying to fix my life now. I'm hoping to get to heaven. So I gotta suck this up.
Right. So we see it. Right, exactly. Because again, you know, I always say when it comes to great men like yourself who have a great profession and loves to serve and help, y'all are vessels. So it's important to know who we are within the church. We are vessels. So people like you, is needed. So, you know, straying away from that is really difficult. And I think that's why it's difficult for Black people to really understand that we need counseling. You know, because we need counseling, we need life coaches, we need people. Because like you just said, we all trauma. I come from, you know, not less fortunate, but I ain't have everything. It was some trauma in my life. It was some trauma in your life. We don't lean to nobody. We suck it in. We keep quiet. We deal with it. But we need to really reach out to people like yourself, man. And that's why I brought you on to kind of give them forms of information to push the envelope, basically. You know what I mean?
Man, I would say if you Black or brown in the United States,
right,
you have some form of PTSD. You don't have to be.
I have been said that. I said, bro, if you in America and Black and brown, you have some form, you have dealt with it, and it's in your mind.
You got it, man. The fact, it's funny, man. The fact that we even got to have those conversations with our sons about the fact, listen, I got a past, but I'm far removed from my past. But even when I get pulled over today, in my mind, I still, you know, keep your hand on the wheel.
Right.
I shouldn't even have to think like that. That's not normal. You know, that is not normal. You know, going without food, going without water, having to think a certain way with you, that's trauma.
Right.
And so the fact that we able to process it and the community has made it normal.
Right.
You know, we just made it, it's just what we do. But just cause that's what we do don't make it normal. It don't make it okay.
Absolutely. Now you deal with a lot of one-on-one cases, I'm sure, and I also know that you been on stage and you talk to audiences. What do you love the best? What did Maya love the best? You like the one-on-one, or you like the stage? You know, giving your heart out to an audience.
Man, I'm always like the small crowds and the one-on-ones and the small groups, just because it's more intimacy there. You know, I'm able to dig a little deeper. I'm able to get feedback more. I'm able to, you know, get more from them than to say if I'm speaking, speaking to 50 versus speaking to, 3,000 people. You know, it's a difference because the feedback is different. But I love the small group. I'm always be a fan of the small group.
You've been doing it for a while. Do you even you still get nervous, in front of these crowds, or you just locked in?
So somebody told me, a good friend of mine, man, that's my pastor. He's a good friend of mine. He speaks, not only here pastor, he speaks all over the world. But yeah, he used to tell me something years ago, man. He just said, when you stop getting nervous, get scared, because that means you dependent on your own strength. And so I always keep that in mind. I always get some type of nervousness. It don't matter what it is, but that just means I'm about to be me. So once that goes, or once I hit the stage, or once I'm in front of somebody, it's game time. But I always feel that little bit of, I don't ever want to get that, he'll call it arrogant, but that I'm sure in my abilities, but I know it's always an opportunity for me to mess up too. And I think that keeps me in learning mode.
Right.
In practice mode all the time. I don't ever want to get out there learning in practice mode, which is like I got it, and quit learning and quit practicing and quit growing, man. I think he said we get to that point, that's when you need to get scared and get nervous for real.
Now, your pitch, man. Finding your dopeness. You know, this we gonna settle on, man. This we gonna dive in and dissect, man. For people who don't know, man, you give people their dopeness back. You know, whether they be in trauma, whether they be in bad relationships, typically women and men. And so you know, talk about that for a minute.
Man, so I'll make this short. Okay, so I always tell people, man, we born with 2 needs. You know, it's 6 human needs, but I can narrow down to 2. We born with a need for attachment, and we born with a need for authenticity or a need to be ourselves and to fulfill our purpose. Growing up, whether it's a unhealthy household or unhealthy relationships in your teenage years, we are disconnect from our authenticity and purpose for the sake of attachment. You know, and so what happens
I got to pull a little bit on that. Say it again.
Oh yeah.
Run that back. That's talk. You ain't got to rush.
Go ahead. Go let me know you pour out. I do a cheers to you. I do a cheers to you, but man. So what happens is that people, again, laying trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma, and each time we go through one of them relationship situations, we create a whole new person, a whole new personality, and we forget who the hell we are, man. And so one of my main things is getting people back attached to the core essence and getting them back to their authenticity and purpose of who they are, that you are dope as shit.
Right.
You are the person. You are a great person, and get back connected to who you are. Because the catch is, once you start living out and being who you are, now you will attract the right relationships. Now you will be able to filter. Come on, I tell everybody that I coach or anybody, everything in your life, whether it's relationships, business decisions, have to get permission from your purpose. That should be your filter for everything. If it don't match your purpose and who you are, then you're going to have to create another person to be able to sustain it, and it's not sustainable. So everybody got to return to their dopeness. I believe everybody is dope. Everybody was created with something that I created, put in them that only they can do a certain way. Everybody got gifts. Right. Everybody got certain that's unique to them, and that makes everybody, priceless. I say the Mona Lisa, I ain't gonna say she ugly, but it ain't that she that gorgeous that makes her so valuable is the fact that it's only one of them. He only painted one. So if that painting is one of a kind, it was made by a person, how unique and how priceless are we? And I think we lose that, over time through trauma, relationships, society, whatever, man.
And I'm asking you a question about relationships, because we're talking about it, man. Like, do we, as in the Black community, do we do enough planning before we get into a relationship?
No. And honestly, I don't think no race. Well, I ain't gonna say no race, because there's some societies where they pre-plan everything.
They pre-plan everything.
And
so, what I'm saying by this, what I'm saying
they're 99% successful.
What I'm saying by this is, knowing who you are is part of dopeness, right?
Yes.
So if you are planning to be in a relationship, wouldn't you find someone that is attracted to your dopeness and not necessarily anything else? You see what I'm saying? Because once you get in a relationship, and I feel like a woman try to change you, they ain't attracted to your dopeness. They try to change you into something that you ain't. You see what I'm saying? And that's the problem. I think sometimes. I might be a little off.
No, you are 100% on point, man. You're 100% on point. Most people, because they don't know their core needs, they really don't know who the hell they are. They are getting together for people not to meet their core needs, but they get together for people to meet their insecurities. And so people date for insecurity. Most time people date for their insecurity, man, because they really don't know what they want or what they need, because they don't want to do the work to find out stuff, man. No, we don't plan, because people don't know their purpose. Listen, I know who I am. I know who I'm choosing to be. Now it's easy to say this person fit my core needs. right? And if they don't, cool, move on, and find somebody to do. But again, if you don't do the work, now, well, they fit this need in a bad way, or they fit this need in this way. So we end up hooking up for our insecurities and unhealthy places more than hooking up for our vision and purpose.
Right. Well, that leads to my next question. When it comes to dealing with, because you say you deal, how, I ain't gonna ask you personally, but like as far as your coaching, what's the ratio from black to white? I'm just gonna ask.
It's mostly black and brown. I've had a few sprinkles.
Okay.
I had a few sprinkles in there.
Okay. So with that being said, is it tough? You think it's tough for black women who have been in single homes to be in marriages?
I would say it's more challenging. I say it's more challenging.
What I say by that is, if they haven't seen someone be a wife and be submissive, and they always seen a mother go get it herself, be determined, I don't need nothing else but me. Right. And that's how they was raised. How can they change that and actually say, okay, the opposite, basically what I'm saying?
Start doing the work on yourself. I always tell people, man, you got to look in the mirror and do the work on yourself. Most time we trying to fix other people, or we point a finger. A lot of people point. I didn't have, again, that victim mentality. I didn't have this. I didn't see this. Like, realize and be honest. I say be honest with yourself and realize my household wasn't healthy. Whether some people had both parents there. Yes. My household wasn't healthy. I didn't have a good, for the female, I didn't have a good relationship with my dad, or a male. I didn't have a good relationship with my mom. Be honest with yourself and realize that it wasn't healthy, and start doing the work, start going after your purpose. And then, as you're doing that, because nobody be completely healed, but as you're doing that and doing the work, your choices in relationships will be different, but also who you attract will be different too. But yeah, man, I think it's more challenging for black women and black men, just because
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Now, I think, and I don't want to just pick on the women, because again, as in these same homes, there are, even if you are two parents or a single parent, some of their fathers didn't know how to read. Truly know how to lead. So we're for prime example. I always talk about my tone. I'm sometimes my masculinity get me too loud because I'm a very emotional person. I'm gonna get loud whether I'm watching a basketball game or whether I'm outside talking to my brother. That's just who I am. But sometimes when it channels into something else, it becomes threatening. I'm assuming. You see what I'm saying? That's because of my father. I haven't learned how to deal with tone. You see what I'm saying? Right. You kind of understand what I'm saying? So therefore I have to watch myself as a man, because sometimes that's challenging. But I've never seen my daddy watch it, so I sometimes don't watch it. So again, being a leader, I have to question myself sometimes. Am I the best leader? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? These conversations black men need to have. What we have.
Absolutely. Again, like I say, you've grown to maturity enough to know my tone can be messed up sometimes. Right. Just being willing to have that awareness and say that is about 60% of the whole battle. Right. Being able to say, I think I have this I ain't gonna say problem, this opportunity that I can grow in this area. It ain't gonna be overnight, because it didn't happen overnight, but I got an opportunity for growth right here.
Exactly. And that's what this podcast is all about. Generating some type of growth when you pull, and that's why I got you on here, man, because I know you can deliver the right message. And when you're delivering these messages, what are some of the things you tell these men or women when it comes to finding their dopeness again?
I always say, man, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Your parents, whether it was your parents, they did what they knew to do, and they may needed help too. There's nothing wrong with you. I always get them back to themselves. You know, try to get them. The first step in all my coaching is self-awareness. Back to themselves, and the case is there's nothing wrong with you. You're where you are because of the choices you made. And the good news about that is if you chose to get here, you can choose your way out.
Absolutely.
So I try to get all their power. I always say the power's in our choices. I try to get them to realize you got all the power you need to be the person that you want to be. And so I always try to start with that. I always try to start with stuff. Because what it say, love others as you love yourself. Yeah. And so I gotta learn how to love me all over again before I even can do any right by anybody in fullness, if that makes sense.
Right, absolutely. Now I've been following your page, man, and you're a good writer.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
You write well, and how does that help you in your craft? Because does that help you in your craft?
Yeah, man. When I was younger, man, it was therapeutic, man. Like that's how I used to escape. I would write, whether it's the comic books or go through this wild imagination in my head to escape my outside world. I would do a lot of reading and a whole lot of writing, man. And I didn't know at the time that was helping me cope. And so the older I got, man, so I, went through life, put it down for a bit, but probably I've been divorced. I've always wrote. I got 3 books. I wrote 5 books, helped people write books, and I've always wrote. But going back to journaling and personal writing, I think when I was going through relationship issues and separated and going through a divorce, I started back doing my journaling, and it clicked back on. I didn't know that was therapy for me, and I also learned that once you write something down and get it out of your head, it takes away its power. So even now with some clients, I tell them to write everything down. They don't like it, bottle it up, burn it up, throw it away, get rid of it.
Yeah.
It takes away its power when you can read it and see it versus you going over and over in your head, man. So it's therapeutic. It's very therapeutic for me.
Yeah, I see you. I see you. You definitely. I think it's art as well.
Oh, absolutely.
You're putting something in your mind on paper, and a lot of things and a lot of greatness start with that.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
When you able to put it, because it's hard to do sometimes for people to be able to put the words that you have in your mind on paper. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And you got a lot of art on your Instagram, and I'm blessed to read some of it. Now moving forward, because I always want to inspire some people that may be watching that want to be in your position, man, and want to start being a life coach. What are some of the tools you have as far as characteristics that a person needs in order to be in your profession? Because again, you're working with people, and so I want you to try to inspire somebody and try to say, hey, what do they need to do?
If I can make it short, start your own healing process and never stop. Never stop your healing process. The biggest skill I would say that you need is I say 2, communication, or 3, communication, listening, which I guess that may be part of communication, but empathy. Empathy has to be your superpower. Empathy, not necessarily compassion, because empathy can lead to compassion. Not sympathy, you feel sorry for anybody, because that could be you too. Hey, man, I never say what I won't do. I say what I hope I never will do.
Right.
Because we all got vices. Everybody get a turn. But I would say empathy, man. If one skill, master empathy before you get in any profession where you're serving people directly, because that will take you a long way. And just hone in on whatever niche or whatever area of coaching that you decide to go into. Stay a student of the craft, and stay a student of people, and stay a student of yourself.
That's great. That's great information, man. Thank you so much for providing information. And again, where can people find you at, man? Because I had to dig through some. I had to dig, man. I don't want nobody to dig no more, man, because you can provide some great service for the upstate of South Carolina, especially the Greenville, man. And we need more of this conversation. I tell people all the time, man, this podcast is open court for people that just more than sports, more than basketball, more than football. We are bigger than that as a community, and we need more conversations like this as men. You know what I mean? Quote unquote, Jada got the red table. This is the blue table to talk and just let it go, because I promote, I advertise, but this is our audience needs to hear this, and they need more of you life coaching. Because a lot of times, I'm not trying to separate two, because you know more than counseling might not be the answer. Listen, I'm over my past. I am going forward. I want the future. I want to be planned. I want planning. I want to see why my life can't move forward. I know I know I got trauma. We ain't got the coach. We ain't got the counsel about that. I need forward movement, and you are a perfect person, man. And I want to thank you so much. So how can I get in touch with you?
Oh I appreciate it so much. You can find my name anywhere, man. Jemiah Battle on Facebook. And Jemiah Battle on Instagram. I do look at, everybody in my DM. I do read my messages. I do read my messages.
Yeah, you do. And he does read his messages. That's how I got to him.
Yep, it's not a bot or somebody else reading my. I do read my messages. But yeah, just Facebook or Instagram, just Jemiah at Jemiah Battle. You can find me there. Coming up soon, you can find me at Reclaiming Your Dopeness. .com. There'll be a program I'll be launching soon, so go to that website and stay up to date with it as well.
Thank you so much, man. And again, man, Jemiah, thank you so much for stopping by, chopping it up with the good guy. I look forward to seeing you soon, man. I was disappointed a little bit that you couldn't see you in person, but don't worry about it. We got it fixed. You got it handled. You've been a blessing. You know what I mean? So
I'll be there. Hey, next time if I get invited back, I'll make sure I'm in person.
This is always your home. This is always your home. Never forget, man, we're going to go deeper, because I do have returning guests, man, because, again, there's growth in you. You're going to do bigger things. And I want you to just stop by and chat. Tell the upstate what you got going on, man. This is a podcast, man.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man. It is what it is. It's your boy, Mark Goodman, a.k.a. the Force Blocks of the Block. We out. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it.
No matter the topic, whatever it is, then you know that we got you. We spread the knowledge. We talk about politics, even the gossip. You can hear us on Spotify or tune in to YouTube. You even can watch us. I know we got haters. I can promise you one thing, that we never stopping. It's the Good Guy Podcast. I ain't bragging, but we are the greatest. It's the Good Guy Podcast.